into that game. And let's get this going. We start to the bottom left-hand side of the map with the blue Zerg player coming in from Splice. It is going to be our blue Zerg, Solar. His opponent here is going to be to the top right-hand side. We just saw him taking down Jacko with the 2-0. In the first round of the competition today, it is going to be Ryung in the upper right as well. So as we set on up into game number 1 of this best of 3 in the round of 16, we'll look to see what's going to happen in cross-spawn TVZ on Cactus. Are we going to see some mech-based play from Ryung? Definitely something which Ryung would not shy away from. I mean, Ryung is a player who will do all sorts of stuff here and there. And yeah, it will be interesting to see kind of what develops here, especially off of what is a gas first already. So, you know, Ryung is definitely not going to go for a 2-1-1 build order. He's probably going to expand off of a Reaper, but he's probably not going to go for a fast second barracks. He's really looking towards a fast factory and looking to see where he can go from that point on. On the other side of the map, well, Solar, he's adding on his hatch, gas, and going into the pool as well. So hatch gas pool from Solar here in the early stages as well. He sets up into this, and obviously, I mean, that's pretty standard from the Zerg's point of view. You know, nothing really too crazy. I mean, Cactus Valley is a nice large map. You can understand why both players would want to play on this. You know, if Ryung just wants to go into a nice long macro game, great map to do so on. It's a good map to drop on, jump in between this base and this base. You know, solid 4 bases that you can, you can attack into 2 different sides of 4 bases and all this and that, and you know, pull your army apart and so on. And obviously, as the Zerg, there's a nice open area in the center for flanks, surrounds. And as the Terror, you know, you can counter that by using the side of the map a little bit more so to kind of get away from some of those flanks and open areas and all the rest of it as well. So it is a pretty interesting map for TVZ. Obviously, cross spawns will will be preferential for the Zerg player. That's what the Zerg player wants. You know, they really do want to be able to get cross spawns, macro, minimize the pushing power of the Terran player, which is why they would prefer themselves either vertical or horizontal spawns. So it's just, you know, it's just one of those things as well. Like, Ryung will see that it's not going to be horizontal. He'll probably check vertical now, and, well, when he doesn't see that as well, he'll be a little bit upset, but it's not exactly the end of the world. It does just mean that Solar will have a little bit more of a, you know, will feel a little bit more confident on this map, perhaps, I suppose, in these early stages. So here we go anyways, this Reaper coming down towards the bottom right, and Solar just sets up into a third hatchery back at home already. We're just going straight in towards that starport. Is going to produce a few hellions here. Now we'll see how much he's going to commit in towards hellions. Obviously, it is double gas, and so you'd expect something along the lines of maybe Hellbat Banshee. Hellbat Medevac is a possibility as well. Obviously, basically anything with Hellbats, because this double gas means he's going to have a lot of gas mining. And that's generally to help him afford an armory at this point, unless he really commits into, say, Banshees or something. But even then, you can afford the armory as well, so it is a little bit of an interesting one, as we're just going to be seeing this Reaper popping on in, and then popping right on out. A few Zerglings still around on the low ground too, going to chase that Reaper down just a little bit here, gets pushed away. And we'll see at this point, Ryung just trying to pick up whatever information he can as his Hellions come out. He'll be able to help defend this Reaper and keep it nice and alive for now. There's the Medevac actually coming down, so probably just going to be... Ooh, 2 more Widow Mines building. How interesting. Okay, a little bit of an interesting start then. Not too sure what to feel about the double Widow Mine in production. So a bit of a different build here by Ryung as he looks to just apply pressure early. And he does start up stim, so he's going to go into a bio-based follow-up. Probably a third CC soon, sometime soon as well. I'd be surprised if he stuck on just kind of the 2 bases for a lengthy period of time on cross-spawn Cactus. Unless he really isn't confident with this going very long and he really just wants to try and end this as early as possible. It generally isn't the sort of map which you would do that sort of thing on, as the 2 Widow Mines load up and come across as the Viking starts to build as well, and obviously that's always a great way to start cleaning out these overlords, shut down some of the scouting, and just shut down kind of the potential to scout drops, and especially on Cactus Valley, a very large map. You know, drops are going to be a big part of this, and if you can shut down the overlords and keep your drops hidden, well then you can really keep the Zerg guessing, and you can really keep the, catch the Zerg off guard quite often as well. 4 Hellions, the Reaper and the Widow Mines heading towards the third base, as also just see that third CC of the Terran player building up right now, so he knows it is going to be a third command center, but not a super fast third command center. As an Overlord tries to commit in towards the main, just wants to pick up further information, specifically if this is going to be bio or mech. He does see extra barracks, which of course, well, it isn't a very good indicator of mech, put it that way. Hellion still sat over here as the Widow Mines start to drop off in towards the main base. One Widowmine going off on just one drone, and another Widowmine. I mean, comes towards the natural, but can he really burrow in time? I don't think he can. He drops it. He's going to try to burrow. Oh, he's going to get there, but he doesn't get the connection because the Spore Crawler gives him the detection he needs. And Solo can clean up very easily. The Hellion's getting turned away from the third base at the same time. Looks as though they only really did damage to Queen and didn't manage to do any drone damage at all. So altogether, from Ryung, not really a successful pressure early on in terms of doing damage, but at the same time, he did slow down Solar. He definitely did force Solar to make quite a lot of lings and a couple of roaches here and there as well, so all said and done with that, a 9-worker lead for the Zerg. It'll increase a little bit now as he can focus on droning after deflecting these attacks. But that's still not kind of unmanageable for Ryung. He's building 3 SCVs at a time now, and will be very shortly. And he's still got a couple of Hellions actually to come in, and he pops down 2 drones straight away, so I mean, little bits and pieces like that will definitely help him. I mean, a couple extra drones going down, it just keeps it at a kind of a 10 to 12 worker gap, which is something which the Triple Mule should be able to kind of keep up with his. Oh, the Hellion micro, pretty sweet there, keeping that one Hellion alive on 1 hit point just until the very, very end. So, well, I'm saying until the very end, it's still alive right now, but really nice little just loop around with the Hellion there. I mean, it's one of those things that looks kind of cool, maybe isn't so difficult to do. I mean, as long as you're paying attention to the Hellion, you should be able to keep running away, but you still got to make the other 2 stop and attack while that one runs, and go in the right direction, loop around so your other Hellions can attack as well, you're not just running endlessly. It was pretty good actually by Ryung. I appreciate that, that was good. His third base will drop down now, of course, and obviously both players just establishing their third bases here. Fourth base down to the south. I'm really intrigued to see how this fourth place plays out nowadays, because different to the old Cactus Valley, it is actually pushed a little bit further away from this edge because of Liberators. And so it comes into this position where it's actually very choked up if you're attacking in from, say, the south side here, or if you're attacking into the Zerg play from the north side, so that it actually gives the attacker a bit more of an advantage onto the fourth base, because they can get behind the mineral patch very easily, they can sit up behind this choke point, and you're generally going to be attacking through the choke point, right, if you're the defender, unless you're very, very well prepared, and you're able to get out in front of this, in which case it's a pretty open army on either side. So it is interesting. I do feel as though it kind of benefits the player who wants to be maybe the aggressor in this. So kind of interesting as we just see this first medevac having to pull back, and well, we're actually going to see the Spore Crawler will have to get taken down before these medevacs can come back in. We'll be able to come forwards now and start to unload maybe a few more units, but at the same time as well, there's also a couple of Queens here. With the amount of damage he took from the Spore Crawler, it's also probably not a great idea to stay committed in this position over here. Even right now, that Queen reaching on over, and that medevac getting very, very low. Now, a lot of roaches starting to come through the center of the map. Ravages as well. It's an interesting attack from Solo, just committing into Roach Ravager rather than Ling Bane Reader, and he's just going to go with the 1-1 upgrades, and he's going to try and make a large attack happen right here. Now, how well prepared is Ryung? Well, he's going to have to do something with this double drop across the map, because if he doesn't, then that's a lot of supply he's just got sat there waiting right now. As here we go. He sims on in, Solo's actually going to start turning around, which is probably, I mean, not what he wants to do. He wants to use his reinforcements to defend this, not his main armies. The first couple of shots going down, Hellbat getting picked off almost instantly as well. And obviously, Hellbat's on great against Roach Ravager. The only reason Ryung has them is because they were here from earlier in the game. So let's see if he can hold off against this. I mean, this is a large army. He's already pulled his SCVs away over to the left-hand side. He's got a Liberator coming out, but what do you do with a Liberator when Throws to Battles will just take it down so quickly? SCVs will have to pull into this, absolutely no doubt about it. Widowmines are going to go off as well to help out against this. Marines spreading themselves out, and I wonder if there's just too many Marines and not enough Marauders to really help get rid of the Roach count. I mean, Marines are nice against the Ravages and so on, but against the Roaches themselves, it's very nice to have the Marauders, obviously, as a few Marines from the south side too, and I mean, Ravages are going down very quickly now, just to make sure he will, he's not going to get that denied or delayed when he doesn't have to. If a Reaper comes in and sees a drone, it will chase it, it will force an extractor, things get delayed. If he doesn't see a drone, it's very unlikely he's going to commit his Reaper all the way into this corner to check for a drone, and so it just is a safer way to get your third hatchery up without issue. Now we do see the starport building from Ryung once again, and it is pretty much going back to what we saw in that first game. As previously mentioned, the first 2 Hellions are on the way up. Now there's still plenty of time for this to change though. You can see already this time the barracks actually pulls towards the starport for the tech lab, and I wonder if this means we're going to be seeing something more along the lines of a cloaked Banshee opening, or some, something like that, because that is sort of the thing you would expect to maybe see here of this kind of Hellion double gas play early on. So that's a possibility right now. It could just be he wants to go for the same build once again, and he just wants his, his structures to be built in a row. But it looks as though we will see the tech lab being attached to the starport now. So this is going to be the tech lab, probably starting up cloak most likely, unless he goes for a Raven-based opener, which would be, well, right out there. I mean, it's definitely an option. He's actually going to go for a Viking to begin with, interesting enough. I wonder if it's just going to be a fake then, you know, kind of start a Viking, maybe have Cloak starting if an Overlord comes into Scout. Alright, well we do see more Hellions being made than before. Going up to 6 Hellions now is obviously much more than the 4 we saw in the last game, so it's already a difference from Ryung here, as well as the kind of Viking first, no medevac. I think he will commit to this Cloak. I don't think that's fake. I think he'll make a Banshee second and just get this second, Banshee on the map shortly and sort of do something with it as we see Hellions again trying to find what they can, but no real opportunity. Could have maybe picked off a drone, but he missed his chance, and so the Hellions will just have to back away. So yeah, I mean, here comes the Overlord. He's going to see the Viking as the Viking takes it down. We'll see the Cloak Banshee as well, though, so I mean, if Ryung gets, Solo gets the scout he should need as, drones in the natural expansion, maybe in a bit of trouble. A couple of drones already going down. A lot of drones going down here, actually. You can see the Hellions looping around the back, and there's a lot of workers that are dropping right now, as you see, pushing on forwards. Just more and more damage being done. That's a lot of drones falling for the 4 Hellions. Worthwhile. 8 workers for 4 Hellions. I mean, it's great for our Terran play. Obviously, I mean, you look at it this way, in terms of resources lost, it's pretty even, and obviously then generally because you've killed workers, it turns out better for the Terran. I think 8 to 10 workers is generally what you're looking at when you trade away 4 Hellions, because 4 Hellions are a lot of map controls, a lot of commitment to go into early. However, if Ryung is going to make an extra starport and play kind of, a Sky Terran, well, in that regard, losing the 4 Hellions for 8 workers is brilliant, because he's going to continue to make Hellions. I think one of the weakest things of kind of diving your Hellions in towards the mineral lines is boom, all of a sudden these units you've invested so much time and money into building early are gone, and you're very open to counterattacks. You're going to lose a lot of map control. But if you're continuing to build them, you don't have to go into that kind of ramping up stage of bioproduction, which is what really hurts you in that sort of situation. So instead, we get in towards this position where, trading away for 4 Hellions for 8 workers, I mean, you don't really miss those 4 Hellions because you've got so many more Hellions on the map already, because that factory hasn't moved away from the reactors. So turns out pretty nice here. I like it, actually. And we're going to go double starport Banshee with Hyperflight Rotors. And this is going to be aggression to a whole new level. This Banshee's come in already. Couple of kills. Again, one of the Queens low. Not too much overall, but you can see a little bit here and there. And now he comes in from the left-hand side with these Hellions once again. And he's still just picking up a few more of these drones. He's going to find a few more to the top side, the right-hand side. It's pretty much the entire third base mineral line getting cleaned out right there. That was 12 more workers killed. And Ryung has only lost 7 Hellions. Really starting to ramp up the pressure right now, and Solo definitely starting to take a lot of damage to this these attacks. As you see, the Hellions will join up together to the south, and well, what can they do to make the difference right now? As we see, well, this Banshee going to loop back around. I mean, the interesting thing is we see a lot of Banshees being built, but we don't really see the Banshees being used just yet. As far as I'm aware, he's just got them all just stacking up his natural expansion. But there's a Spire on the way from Solo, and that is the exact opposite of what Ryung wants to see right now. The Spire is like the complete shutdown of these Banshees, so he has to really start going sooner rather than later with these, because if he doesn't go soon, he's going to find himself in a position where he's going to fly into the base with like 6 Banshees and be like, haha! And Solo's going to be like, dude, I've got like 10 Mutalisks. And he's just going to kill these Banshees, and these Banshees are going to be like, well, that was a complete wasted investment. So he has to get going with these now. And he does start to move across the map. Actually, Overseer coming forwards, we'll see just one starport. Now he sees the double. But you'll see the extra factories as well. So he knows it's not going to be a complete commitment to Sky Terran. He'll be very happy to have these meters on the way up. This is definitely a big advantage to Solo that maybe Ryung is not expecting at all. I mean, if he's just expecting it to be Roach-based playstyle, then, expecting this to be no kind of, and not expecting Middle would not be too crazy, as we see all the Banshees cloaking in. Where are they going to go? What are they going to commit to? They're just going to commit to this red base. They're going to go for the main. Looks as though they're going to go for the main. What does he kill in the main, though? He's going to come in. He's going to take down the Spore Claw. Obviously, straight away is a great start. I mean, now what? Queen goes down as well, and I guess he'll hunt down another Queen. But, I mean, here come the Mutalisks. So, he just come in, and all of a sudden, what are you left with to do, kind of, apart from just splitting the Banshees away? He just starts splitting them away. He's also splitting up his Hellions again to hit the mineral lines. And you know what? That might just be what he needs here. Splitting up the Hellions and doing a lot more economic damage. And in fact, this might be the biggest play of the of it all, because now the Mutas, they can only be in so many places at the same time. And actually, he kept a lot of these Banshees alive thanks to the Hyperflight Rotors as well. And now Solo is down to 43 drones. Ryung is really doing enough to kind of justify this now, I would say. Lanes, Roaches cleaning up the Hellions, but obviously back at home, more Hellions on the way out. Some 4s coming up as well. It's probably the anti-air is the biggest issue right now from Ryung. He doesn't have a turret on his third base, for example. So there's definitely a couple of weak spots for him, and Obviously investing into, say, +1 ship weapons early, that's not going to help too much now, as these units will start to stream across the map. There isn't even an engineering bay up, that's why he doesn't have a turret, as the meters fly in towards the natural expansion. I mean, 4s are on the way, and they're about to start popping, but they're just not here yet. As you can see, one SCV gets blown up into the skies. There's the first 4 coming out. I mean, there's not too many meters to work with, but I think he knows the right-hand side there isn't anything at all, but he actually backs away because of the Banshees. He has to deal with these. I mean, it's one of those things, you know, you make a decision. Either you go and kill units of your opponent, or you go and try and minimize the units you lose yourself. As you see, a lot of lings gathering together on this right-hand side. A few roaches as well, but not really enough to do too much at all, it seems. As I mean, the meters chase over here, but guess what? The Banshees are already leaving. Hyperflight Rotors gives them the speed to just keep getting away for a decent amount of time here. Cuts the corner across, and all of a sudden, he doesn't kill a single Banshee. Had to pull the Mutalisk back, and Ryung continues to play very well here in game number 2. So, I mean, considering the situation, I mean, this really worked out brilliantly for Ryung. I didn't really think it was going to, because I was just being a bit short-sighted, I guess. I sort of looked at Mutalisks and said, well, Mutalisks should kill everything, but you've always got to remember that, hey, there's only going to be so many Mutalisks, and actually with that many Banshees, you can split them up nicely, and I think the 1-2 punch of Banshee and then the Hellion at the same time, I think that's really something which kind of comes into play here, because, I mean, you can see, because the Hellion split up all over the place, he's basically in all 4 of the bases at the same time. And 7 meters can't be in 4 bases at the same time, and so many workers just got killed off, and it was very well executed by Ryung here. So for little bits and pieces, you see the meters will pick off a tank here. Again, for now, picking off reinforcements, just trying to slow the Terran down in general will be one of Solo's main goals. There's a couple of SCVs getting picked off as well. That Hellion also going to drop, and this Banshee just going to be chased away from this main base. You see a tank. A little bit more damage as well. 4's in the main though, and well, that'll be the end of these Mutalisks for the most part. I mean, 4 of them remain. That's not really too much to continue harassing with, so should give Ryung the opportunity to push across the map now if he wants to attack. I mean, he's on 1-1 upgrades against 1-1 of his opponent. His opponent about to hit 2-2 though, so now would be a best time to attack if he is going to go for this here, and he is pushing up through the center, so let's see what he can do. I mean, the thing is, he's got tanks, right, so you can just siege up slowly and start a push forward. He's going to send these Banshees up towards the 3rd base, and he's going to kill the Queen, and unless some anti-air comes in over here, I mean, here comes some Hydras. In fact, the Hydras might start cleaning this out, but it does mean they're all committed over to the left-hand side. If they are committed over to the left-hand side, there's a big opening. Just keep pushing up through the center right now with the main mech army, and that's exactly what is happening. Tanks continuing to siege on up and just pushing on in, and this really is just going to be, well, I think a little bit too much for Ryung here for Solo to really deal with, but let's see if you can find something to make him come back in this. I mean, the little bit of a ling run by is nice. Catching reinforcements like this, it's the sort of thing you need to do to pull yourself back in the game right now, but the question still remains, is it enough? I mean, Solo's now up on a high ground. He's got very narrow ramps to come down and attack into this mech army with, and that does not make his life easy at all, as you're going to be seeing. Well, this Rotoran is about half health, continuing to drop here. Now gets taken down. These Broodlings getting popped as well. The Roaches and Hydras just sat between the natural and the 3rd base. We're going to see a couple of Hellbats getting taken down as well. Banshee's still trying to fight, and here you go. Roaches and Hydras starting to push forwards. A couple of tanks getting taken down. Blinding Clouds do drop. As this Blinding Clouds drop, we're just going to be seeing still pushing on in. All of these units just kind of just doing way too much. I mean, even the Blinding Clouds haven't saved Solo here. Too much of a deficit early on, and especially when you play against mech falling behind, makes it very difficult to return in the game, return in the game. So, with that said, it looks like we're going to game number 3 here in this best of 3 series. Never Hellbat just getting picked off. Do love Abyssal Reef and the way things just fly off into oblivion when they get killed, but aside from that, I mean, talking about the actual game again, there isn't too much to say. Solo's got a lot of Hydras, which, when they attack down into these siege tanks, I'm not going to have a great time. You just see this natural expansion getting taken down as well. I mean, here we go. A couple of corrosive battles will definitely help and all, but again, how do you ever push down this narrow ramp? You just don't. There gets to a point where you just can't go any further into this army as Berserk. You really, really can't. 2 Vipers about to pop. I mean, again, you can consume, you can try again, but it's not looking brilliant. There's this base to the left side, which actually, if Ryung wanted to, you could probably focus on. If he was to focus on that base, he'd probably get rid of it pretty quickly as the Roach gets shot down by a few siege tanks. Here come the Hellions just running on in, and they're just going to clean up a whole bunch of these drones. As we said before, just going to clean up a lot of this, and, well, So let's go into this. The bottom left-hand side of the map, our blue Zerg from Splice is going to be solo. He's going up against the red Terran plate at the top right-hand side of the map. It is Ryung. Again, what's up everyone? How you all doing today? Hope you're having a wonderful Monday and a start to your week. This is why we run the WardiTV weekly on a Monday, because we do like to bring you guys a nice way to start your week after the weekend, get you all going again, kickstart things, just get everyone active once more. That's what we like to do here on the channel. So let me know how your weekend was again. I talked about my weekend earlier when we were on Proxima Station and TVP, but intrigued to see what you guys have to say. So, yeah, please do let me know how your weekend's been, or if you've got anything exciting going this week. If you're looking forward to any specific StarCraft this week, perhaps. So much going on, of course, so do let us know what's happening and what you're looking forward to. As you do see this Reaper coming on down in towards the natural expansion, obviously very standard stuff here right away. And it is once more going to be the factory opening here out of Ryung with the double gas coming up. We look forward to seeing exactly what he's going to do with his build this time around. So, it looks as though with this SCV here, Starport will build quite far away from the front, which means quite far away from the barracks, which obviously limits the amount of builds this could be, as Solo will see this with the Overlord as well. So, I mean, Solo's going to see, well, this is not going to be a Cloak Banshee. This is probably just going to be a Medevac or Viking out of this Starport, and sort of just playing forwards from there. So looking more so towards, we actually haven't really seen a Hellbat attack yet, which is maybe the one way to kind of keep things, to keep changing things up here, I guess, from Ryung's point of view, more so than anything else. So that's still a possibility. You just see this first Marine coming forwards, and that Overlord is going to get pushed away. Solar getting pushed down from the main base, so Overlord gets pushed away here. Again, a couple more Hellions on the way out. Tech Lab about to finish up on this barracks, and well, again, SCV is just building out of these command centers. There's the medevac. And are we going to see the armory this time around? The stim pack comes down, which means that probably no, we're not. And that's just simply because of the fact that you can't really afford to build the armory while also spending that 100 gas on the stim pack upgrade. So, starting up that stim pack, we look to see where this will go. As a couple of Hellions and Reaper at the front, not really doing too much. The Creep Tumor taking quite a bit of damage, but not dropping just yet. Queen's towards the front from Solo as well, and you see his medevac just bursting out, but I mean, he's only got 2 Hellions, so... Oh, sorry, he's got 4 Hellions. I did not see correctly. He's got 4 Hellions then. I mean, it's mostly for Solo just about being in the right place, identifying the medevac, which he should have been able to do with the way the unit structures were set up. He should know about the possibility of a drop in towards the main base, basically, and well, let's see if he does. We see these Hellions starting to unload. And getting ready to attack on in. We see a few Zerglings running on over to respond already, and these Hellions going to try and do a little bit to start cleaning those up right away. And there you go, GC, 3 of these Hellions loading up, dropping back down. A little bit of a dance here by Ry. Oh, no, man. Don't you just love it when you see little bits of micro that just make you go, God damn it, why do these guys play this game so well? I mean, it's always cute to see when you're kind of lifting up one at a time the Hellions just to minimize damage and to minimize the damage you take and maximize the damage you do, of course. That was pretty neat by Ryung. I mean, it's something we see quite often nowadays, the kind of fancy medevac micro and all the rest of it, but still pretty interesting. Anyways, we do see Ryung kind of going back in towards Stimpack and going in towards Bioplay, so back to what he was going for in game number 1. Back in that game, he did lose to a big Roach Ravager attack, and well, we do see Ravagers on the way up here once again from Solar, but obviously the attack he went for last time was when he hit with +1/+1, he hit with Roach Speed as well. So it's not like, it's a very different kind of situation to what we're in right now. In fact, we don't see much tech at all from Solar just yet. And there's the first Eva Chamber dropping down. That's what I'm really looking towards here. If he wants to kind of go for some sort of aggressive Roach-based attack, I actually maybe feel as though his 1/1 attack upgrades might be, attacking Carapace might be just a little bit too late. Like, really just a little bit too late. As you see those couple of Roaches, couple of Ravagers on the way up towards the upper right. So I'm going to kind of come up here and look to see what's going to happen as we see a couple of Marines on the low ground. Will get evacuated out. And, I mean, there's only 2 Roaches and 2 Ravagers here. This shouldn't really be enough to do anything significant. There's enough Marines to fight this realistically, and if your SCVs pull forwards to prepare for the depot, he doesn't know how much is behind this, right? So he's got to be a little bit cautious and make sure he doesn't underreact. But the reality is he's overreacting a little bit because it is just 2 Roaches and 2 Ravagers. But that's very hard for Ryung to know without having been on the map. I'm going to see a few more of these units loading up, then they're going to start heading out. And Looks though Ryung will continue to pressure players. Well, I mean, Solo's building a lot of roaches, but he's not really committing to the 1-1 timing as much as he did in game number 1. He's going to build the Spire now, so that's going to be a bit of a different follow-up for him. I wonder if we're going to be seeing Mutalisks or if we're going to just be seeing Corruptors. It's an interesting one. To play Roach Ravager into Mutalisk is very different. See how this works out for him. As we have the Medivacs just boosting across and towards the main base, so going to get ready to start unloading. And well, there's one Viking to the left-hand side from Ryung here to see what he can get up to already. These couple of Widowmines going to start spreading out just a little bit. And, well, there goes the Spore Crawler. See this Overlord getting taken down as well. A couple more Zerglings getting popped, and again, Widowmine's going to go off and actually connecting quite nicely onto some Roaches here. It's not a bad trade. He tries to come back in and save. The Widowmines doesn't happen though. The units on top will just keep things alive. Third base from Ryung setting up at the front here, and as he goes into his 2-2 upgrades, he doesn't have too much to worry about. The biggest issue now is probably going to be those Mutalisks, actually. And I wonder if he goes for kind of the 1-2 punch, kind of similar to what Ryung did with kind of Hellbats and Hellions and Banshees in game number 2. I wonder if Solo goes for that here, where he uses the Mutas to drag the army around a little bit, and after dragging the army around a whole bunch, he then runs in with the Roaches for one very strong attack, focused towards the front. It's actually something we saw a lot of when we saw 2-base Mutalisk. A lot of fast Mutas into Roaches and Ravagers attacking with 1-1. And the power of that build really was with the fact that... the power of that build really came from the fact that you just sort of had the Mutas to harass and pull your opponent around. And then when you masked up the Roach Ravager, the Terran player was maybe a little bit too heavily split up to really make the most of anything. As you see this Overlord getting taken down. Some Zerglings going to keep on chasing for Solo as well. And those Marines going to continue running away in towards the natural expansion. 2-2 upgrades on the way from Solo right here. So he's going in towards these 2-2 upgrades. And that's going to be seeing this Viking of Ryung continuing to be chased away towards the upper right hand side. A couple of Liberators coming in, and we're going to be seeing those Mutas getting turned around pretty swiftly. And as you're going to see the Liberators again looking to see where they can maybe go next. You can see Marines going in towards the main base once more. Marines will stem forwards, and well, drones are already beginning to drop. Zerglings as well going down quickly as... Well, there goes that Queen. I mean, this drop has been very effective so far. Obviously, the Roaches coming in to respond now, but at the same time, Ryung is out in the center of the map, pushing the 4th base on this gold. So, drones going down here as well, and Solar is a little bit all over the place right now. He's actually taking some drones away from this position as others run in. He's still got Marines in the main base too, Ryung, and he's really starting to do quite a bit of damage here and there. But Solar's also responding nicely. Roaches running around and actually, for the most part, really minimizing the damage being taken. I mean, it's really good damage by Ryung. He's doing a lot. But at the same time, Solar is really could have taken a lot more as well if he didn't respond as well. That is actually very well executed in terms of defense. Now, 2-2 upgrades do finish up for our Terran players. So now he's got 2-2 as well. That'll be another something that the Zerg player has to kind of worry about. But his own 2-2 is not too far behind. Adding in some Infestors now as well. Still is getting in towards this stage of the game, which he's going to be feeling a little bit more confident with, I would say. I mean, see a few Zerglings to the right-hand side. So let me just try and hit these back rocks or so. Open up access in towards his opponent's bases from other directions. Just try and get some run-by potential going. I mean, this here, though, is very easily walled off, so I don't really see this being too successful at all. And you can see it as well so early on as well. The fact that there's a depot here means Marines can come forwards, and these Zerglings are never going to get through this position, so those rocks are pretty safe. I think you need a good chunk of Roaches to take that down very quickly and then to move up if you really want to try and get something done. As we're going to see the Medivac gets taken down by Spores and Mutas over towards the natural expansion. I mean, as Solo gets more on top of this, the cleanups come a bit more easily, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now as the lair starts to build in the natural expansion, starting to get ready to go. Again, a few Infestors just building up energy right now as he really does get into this very kind of comfortable position with the Roach Ravager playstyle. Roach Ravager Infestor, a few Mutas out as well. You can actually see the Infestors currently burrowing towards the center of the map. Has to be very careful. One scan and that's 4 dead Infestors, and that's a huge investment, which is not going to pay off for itself. So he needs to make sure that, if he hits a fungal on this massive clump to Barney, brilliant. But it's a high risk, high reward playstyle where if you're going to keep those burrowed Infestors towards the Terran player, one scan can very quickly end your day. At the same time, one fungal can very quickly end their days. You just continue to go down here, and we are going to see Ryung just stemming a bit further forwards. He actually sees the Infestors with the scan, and this is what we're talking about. Solo loses all 4 of them, does not get a fungal growth off, and that is a big mistake. Immediately rebuilds them, showing us here that he wants these infestors, and obviously the biggest issue is he never invested into pathogen glands. Without pathogen glands, how is he ever going to be able to realistically make this a comeback? You know what I mean? Like, you know, he's just going to have to wait forever with these infestors until they're ready to go. And that gives Ryung so much time to work with here as the space to the left-hand side goes down as well. A nice drop play as Ryung cleans this hatchery out. 3-3 about to finish from Ryung as well, so I mean, it's the perfect time to be pushing forwards. He's about to hit better upgrades. He's got no infestors to worry about. I don't know if Solo can really hold this on. He's going to scan, and I mean, he'll see those infestors. He'll know they've just popped out. And so he knows that he's got no fungal growths to worry about here. And Solo knows it as well. He knows he's got no threat to this army. 4th base evacuated, 4th base given up just like that. And well, we see Marines unloading back towards this left-hand side base, which is starting to rebuild as Solo's new 4th, but I mean, it's not going to be up here just yet. Now, if you cross the Basel come down onto these tanks, one will fall. But just the one for now, as I mean, Ryung is still pushing forwards. When sieging tanks, bring them forwards just a couple at a time. He's got a lot of bio in the back as well, which he can bring into a fight here in the near future. May even just load up a medevac, jump in towards the main base with it. So that sort of position he can do that with is, again, Marines at the front just leading the charge, just trying to bait units in towards the siege tank fire. And well, a nice fungal bio combination will help Solo clean this up. But look at Ryung's bank as he goes into a 4th base of his own, saturates that here. There's a double drop into the main. Solo's got a great spy and starts to try morphing in some Broodlords, which, well, might be a very good way to try and come back in this a little bit, but he needs to survive to get those Broodlords out, and that is never going to be an easy thing to do in the position he's in right now. Marines are actually in the main base starting to get rid of the Corruptors anyways, so without Corruptors, there is not going to be Broodlords, as Solo's supply continues to drop, and Ryung adds on extra starports, just rebuilds a lot more medevac Marine tank. I mean, he knows he's in a great position here, so he's just going to keep on rebuilding. As he gets more starports up, he can build the Vikings he needs to help against Broodlord play, and he knows exactly what he's doing right now. Ryung just has a little bit too much, and from 1-0 down in the series, looking as though he's going to be able to clean this up 2 games in a row. As he's actually going to see these infestors over here, and he'll start targeting those down, gets rid of 2 of them. I mean, the other couple still there. I'm not sure how much of a issue that's going to become for him. I don't know if they're ever really going to get a chance to be used. I mean, Solo looking as though he might about be pushing this back for now, but I mean, for how long? I mean, is he really pushing it back? There's so many units still on the map as well, so I guess there's way too much. GG is obviously